What up, this is Rapids. And so it just got worse for the Breakfast Club. Tasha K has some exclusive information.
We got an update on the Breakfast Club. So, exclusive. I don't like laughing on nobody's downfall, but laugh at mine when they be thinking I'm falling. I keep on falling. Listen. So, I was doing a press run for my birthday. We have PR now that is part of the team, and their job is when we do events and tours to book press for the winos. So we can let the winos know in each city that we're there. And so you guys saw me all over DC, the DMV, going from radio station to radio station. We did some podcasts. We even did Atlanta. And so I happened to go down to the iHeart headquarters, and you know, you see the Breakfast Club pictures like everywhere. It's like, really? I said, iHeart got some money.
So with whatever she's saying, we got to take this with a grain of salt and put an alleged behind it, because you never really know with Tasha K and her information. But she's saying that she went down to the iHeart studios and got an inside scoop on the Breakfast Club. So we're going to get into what all she allegedly discovered.
Look at this. Y'all got money down here. Y'all rich. Yeah, y'all rich. So I'm getting ready to do my interview, and you know, they had all the iHeart employees in there, and they looked over at me and they said, Tasha. And I said, huh? They said, how you know about that Breakfast Club deal? I said, what you talking about? They said, you been on point. Now I know where I'm at. I'm at their employers' headquarters. So I said, well, what part you talking about? They said, well, you know that we know what happened. I said, so what happened? They said, and I'm going to say allegedly, according to them, I'm not going to leak my source, but I was inside of iHeart. The pictures, I have the pictures. I was there for a few hours, okay? And so they basically said, you were right, Tasha, when you said that iHeart did not renew their contracts. I said, well, tell me more, even though I already knew that from some Black Effect podcasts, because people that Charlamagne got signed, you know what I'm saying? And so I already knew that. I said, but tell me more. Because, you know, he put out a whole press release calling me a liar. He said the whole reason for the iHeart, for the Netflix deal, was because iHeart refused to allocate money towards their show.
So she's saying that iHeart did not renew their contracts. You see, I did a video on this a while back when this was all breaking news and happening live. I did a report on everything. I was explaining how there were rumors that Charlamagne wasn't going to resign his contract unless he got what he wanted, and what he wanted was that bag. And ultimately, within a few weeks, there was this major announcement that the Breakfast Club just signed on with the Netflix deal for, they're saying Charlamagne got about 200 million, which I think is kind of capped. I think that there's more to it with that 200 mil, you know, because he's in charge of this Black Effect network or whatever. And, you know, when it comes down to it, I'm not so sure he got 200 million. It just sounds kind of outrageous. But, I mean, whatever he got, the thing is, he made this deal with Netflix where Netflix is now pretty much sunning them. Netflix is telling them that they can only upload these small clips to YouTube, and they have like full control over their show now. So look, so did Charlamagne get his contract renewed or not? That's in question now. I mean, whatever the contract is, it looks like Netflix pretty much owns them. I mean, at this point, until that contract's up. So look, did iHeart not want to pay Charlamagne and DJ Envy and all them what they were asking? I mean, I think what they were asking was way too much money when it comes down to it. That's what this is sounding like, is they wanted way too much money for iHeart to be able to give them what they wanted. So iHeart was able to negotiate this Netflix deal to get them what they wanted so that they would stay. Because I heard Charlamagne was actually going to leave if he didn't get what he wanted. So this is showing us more information about why they took this deal. Let's see what else Tasha K has to say.
I said, all this money they got up in here, they couldn't find a couple dollars? They said no. So this whole bid that they did with Netflix, and you know, when you go to Netflix, you got to search for them. You got to go down like this. You got to type it in. By the time you get there, you uninterested. You done found something else you want to watch. You know what I'm saying? They behind all other podcasts. Like I said, it was only 5 podcasts that went from iHeart to Netflix as a part of their all-inclusive deal, which means they don't even have say-so. And I know this for a fact. They don't even have say-so on the guests that sit on their platform. Before, they could gatekeep and say, oh, you get to sit with me, I get to sit with you. They have to get written permission from Netflix to invite anybody to their show right now. Whereas before, they could say, hey, come sit down, come sit down. And that's why you didn't see a lot of people that you probably wanted to see on that platform. A, they didn't want to talk to them, and they didn't want them like that. Or 2, they was gatekeeping because at the time, they had the hottest platform out here, right?
So according to Tasha K, the Breakfast Club now must get all of their interviews approved by Netflix. That takes away their creative control because they were a cultural radio show that really represented hip hop, because at this point, there's no more XXL magazines. There's no more Source magazines. Nobody's reading magazines. You know, that used to be where people got their information about hip hop, was these magazines. Then YouTube came along, and then podcasts came along. So now, you know, there was no need for magazines. People didn't have to wait like a month before a magazine came out to read information. Information comes out much quicker now. So at this point, things can happen, and you'll have podcasters talking about it within the same hour of something happening. So now, you know, that's why the whole magazine thing is gone, and that's where the rise of the Breakfast Club and things like that started to take over, is because they're much quicker at getting out hip-hop news. But with Netflix now allegedly gatekeeping who Breakfast Club can have on their show, that makes them gatekeepers. That makes Netflix gatekeepers of the Breakfast Club. The corporations are now in control of what the Breakfast Club can talk about. If this is true, if what Tasha K is saying is true, that means that they must get their interviews approved and have permission to bring a guest on before they can just do it. So not only can they not put up clips, you know, longer than a couple minutes on YouTube, and they're upsetting all of their long-term fans that got used to watching them on YouTube, and now we're hearing that Breakfast Club doesn't even have a full control over who their guests and interviews are going to be. That's worse for them. That's like selling out, basically, in my opinion. Let's see what else Tasha K has to say.
And so, I guess to fill you in on what was said, they said, so basically, iHeart wouldn't allocate funds to them, which means they didn't extend the contract. Now, they have license rights to the audio of the show, but they have literally given Netflix full control over this entire concept. They don't even have control over their concept, because we told you last week, 2 weeks ago, that Just Hilarious doesn't even have the IP rights to her Just with the Mess, the thing that got her on. She can't even post that on her Instagram without their permission. She just signed over her little rights per Charlemagne, because iHeart, from what I'm being told, okay, by iHeart executives, that they didn't want to pay him. And so in order to appease him, they said, well, Netflix approached us, you can go over here. And that's why at the end of every video that they got, they be like, go to Netflix. You watch Netflix. You always on Netflix. Download Netflix now. Go and watch The Breakfast Club. Maybe they're going to have a Chick-fil-A owner up on there next time, to kind of go away with the brand. But they don't have no rights. And so next time y'all want to try to come for my brand, you can't say nothing now, because Netflix don't even allow y'all to comment unless they tell y'all to comment. So they can't say nothing. Jasmine. Ain't no clap back in that Tasha K. You can't even call your own show Just Hilarious. You can't even say Just with the Mess without written permission from your bosses that have no experience in the podcast industry at all, okay?
So, according to Tasha K, Netflix is the Breakfast Club at this point. That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, Netflix is the Breakfast Club, and they are not the representatives of hip-hop. Like the Breakfast Club, when they had full creative control, that's what hip hop needed. And, they were kind of like the voice and the face of hip hop. Basically, they were a big part of the cultural aspect of hip hop. Like I said, no more Source magazines, no more XXL magazines, but you do have a lot of hip hop platforms now. But Breakfast Club was in that discussion when it comes to hip hop platforms. And now it looks like Netflix is the ones in charge, because it's like, if this information is accurate, what Tasha K is saying, that means like Netflix, the corporate control of Netflix is the voice of hip hop. And that doesn't even make sense, just doesn't make any sense to me. It sounds like Breakfast Club sold out. They're saying Jess Hilarious doesn't even have the right to shout out Jess with a Mess without their permission. It's like they have full control over them, if this is accurate information that Tasha K is reporting. So they have no real say in, the direction of their show without getting approved permission. And so who knows how much they're going to enforce this? Who knows how much Netflix is really going to be enforcing this stuff? But I'm sure they will. I mean, it's just like any artist that signs a deal. The label can say, hey, you're not putting out no music until we say so. You're going to be shelved, or we don't like this song. We're not going to put out this song. It didn't make the cut for the album. It's just when you sign contracts and deals like this, like what Netflix and Breakfast Club did, it's like basically like sounds like almost like an artist deal now, where the label's in charge. So now Netflix would be the label, and Breakfast Club went from being independent voices of hip hop to, according to this report, they're no longer that independent voice of hip hop now. Now they are obedient servitude servants of corporations now. And the deal is very bad for the customers, for the listeners, I should say, because the listeners are just upset. I mean, they haven't gotten over it yet. Now, we'll see over the next course of the next year or two if listeners are going to come around, but I don't think they will. People just aren't going to Netflix to watch Breakfast Club in the numbers that Charlamagne saying they're doing okay, but look, when it comes to Netflix, we can't see the views. We can't see the view count. We can't see the view count. So they can say anything at this point, and I don't believe that people are going over to Netflix in the numbers that they thought that they were going to come over, because when you see all the complaints, that just shows you that there's a large amount of viewers that are not going to do it. Not everyone even has Netflix, It's like not everyone has Netflix. People might cancel Netflix in between stuff they want to see. If there's nothing really that they're seeing that they want to watch on Netflix, they might cancel until they hear something good coming out. And so they might come in and out of Netflix. Plus, like Tasha K was saying, you got to scroll down and search for them. Kind of like it's not like right there in your face. It's not the same formula as YouTube has, where if you're watching it a lot, you might see it pop up on the home screen more, and you might see the interviews pop up individually on YouTube and stuff like that. Well, with Netflix, it's like Tasha's saying, you really gotta scroll and search for what you're looking for to even find the Breakfast Club in the first place. And by the time you find it, you might have already found a few movies that you might want to watch instead. So, that's it for today, y'all. Let me know what you think. Is y'all going to Netflix to check out the Breakfast Club? Let me know in the comment section. Let's get over 100 likes on this video. And if you want to check out my secret members only videos, you can become a YouTube member for as little as $1 to check all of those out. Also, make sure you follow Rap HITZ on social media, and make sure you sign up to Rap HITZ free email newsletters, and make sure you subscribe. That's about it, y'all. I'm out.